Let us start in an upright posture. And as you find that position, we have a number of imagery I've been bringing in recently, right? Some of them are, basically, I'm going to tell you, use the one that feels good today. The helium balloon, right? The head is a helium balloon and floats up, and the body is the string that hangs beneath it. We've played with that fact of that image of a marionette who's being hung from the ceiling. It's similar to the helium balloon situation. We've talked about taking each vertebrae up off of the vertebrae underneath it to garner length in the spine. And then there's just your good old sit in the middle of the buttocks bones, right? Low back pulls in a little bit, but the front ribs pull back a little bit, and the crown of the head lifts high. What are the bits and pieces today that help you find that long spine, that elongated spine? But also the softness around that. The Reverend Joan Halifax talks about a strong back and a soft front. And I think today's appropriate to bring that in since we're going to be working with that, right? This idea of having a strong backbone, a strong sense of self, able to draw our boundaries, embodied, empowered, right? But we have to have this soft, vulnerable, open heart. The strong back allows us to have that. So can you embody that physically right now? Bring your awareness into your breath. And you can notice the breath anywhere. You can notice the belly, right? You can notice the chest. Sometimes we work at the base of the nostrils. If the mind, when my mind is really busy, right? Sometimes it's helpful for me to follow the trail of the breath. I follow it from my nostrils all the way through down into my lungs. And when I exhale, I follow it back out. And it just keeps my mind a little more actively present. And then go ahead and open those eyes. So the front side is easy. We see it every day, right? It's the chest where our heart and our lungs are. Thymus gland is in there. The back side is the part that we often forget about because we don't see it. It's behind us, right? And so I want to try to work with both sides today as we move through, and I'll talk about both sides, but just, food for thought as we move through. So we're going to go into that exercise we did at some point in time recently. Can't remember if it was Tuesday or not. Reach the arms out. And you're going to turn your palms up so those shoulder heads move back a little bit, the shoulder blades soften down. And there's this thing called pronation. It happens right here, right? From your radius bone. You're going to go ahead and you're going to turn your palms down without losing what you just found in your upper body. All these are just particulars. Tune into your body. If it feels better to leave them up, doesn't matter. Reach through your middle fingers like crazy and see if you can't find equanimity, space on this side of the body, but also space on the back side of the body. So I'm literally just trying to lengthen out to the right and the left from both sides of my body. If your shoulder hurts, bring your hands down a little bit, right? Find that place and lengthen out. Okay, so just keeping that idea as we move throughout, right? That idea of equanimity will go to one extreme and the other, and then we'll come back to equanimity. Go ahead and turn those palms up, reach those arms up, maybe bend the elbows and interlace if that's not too much yet this morning. And then you're going to reach those palms up, straightening the arms any amount. Remember, you can bring the arms a little in front of you if that's better for you. And then pushing through not only the pinky edge, but also your thumb and your index finger, right? And taking a breath from there. Now let your upper traps move all the way up to your ears, crunching them in where they like to go all the time, and we ask them not to, and then slide or soften them down, right? And one more time, slide them up to the ears. Your shoulder blades go into what's called elevation, awesome sauce. And now soften them down. Don't slam them down. If you're looking down and forward, can the crown of the head reach up with the marionette string, right? And then go ahead and release those arms, soften them down. And let's take shoulder blade rolls right after that. So instead of just kind of rolling through the shoulders, not wrong, just more precise, we're gonna let our shoulder blades lift up, move them forward, move them down and together. And doesn't matter what your arms and hands are doing, they can be wherever the heck they want to be. Concentrate on your angel wings and try to find the largest circle you can. And for this part, try to stabilize the spine. Again, it's not wrong to move the spine at all. It's a different way of working. If I keep my spine long, I really start to pull on that connective tissue, go the other direction, right? So I really start to move that connective tissue around, hopefully finding a little freedom, a little hydration. Everybody drinking water these days? It's awfully dry. I mean, I know it's raining, but it's still that dry weather time, right? And then go ahead and come on back to center, find your Goldilocks. And then we're gonna bring our palms up and our elbows in at the side. Take an inhale, we're gonna keep our elbows, don't pin them in, right? But have them stay by the side and then reach the fingers, the hands out to the side. And then inhale, coming back to center. We're stabilizing the spine the whole time. Exhale, you'll feel how this moves your shoulder blades in, right? It's called retraction. And bringing that forward. If I say it enough, you might know what it is without me constantly, telling you. Go ahead and reach those arms out, stay out, right? Can your thumbs move back even a little more without your chest or ribs flaring forward? And then reach out like we did just a little bit ago, but keep the arms lower and reach through the middle fingers and find that equanimity, right? Both sides, front and back. And bring those hands down and just pause. We're going to come into hands and knees. Feel free to move the block, blanket the knees, any of that stuff that you need. And then from there, again, with your awareness in your heart center, both the front and the back side, work from there today when you move into your cat-cow. So I'm not going to add anything real new. You know cat-cow pretty darn good at this point in your life, I'm sure, right? Your practice. But can you bring your awareness into when you round, right? I'm trying to round right between my shoulder blades up to the sky. And when I reach, I'm reaching that chest, my heart forward between my arms, right? And just go ahead and move through that a couple of times with that being your main awareness. Are you holding on to the neck when you round? Can you soften? And the answer might be no, by the way. Right? And when I look forward, the more my shoulder blades move in and down without being aggressive, the more my neck can extend. That's just anatomy. That's physiology. Yeah. Or biomechanics. There are many names I guess I could call that. And then go ahead and you're going to turn your hands in towards each other when you're in your neutral. And then we're gonna do that one where we just start to slowly bend our elbows. And I want you to circle through the upper back. It's still an element of cat-cow where you can add that into it, right? But find any extra little nooks and crannies and other direction that maybe wouldn't mind getting a little hello this morning. The neck, I don't know, where's it the most comfortable for you? I just kind of leave mine in the middle usually, but you could play with turning the neck and moving the neck around too, if that's good for you. And then come back to center, child's pose. But when you go into it, knees wide, big toes touch, buttocks to the heels, reach the arms forward. So leave the upper body up a little bit, slide forward or paw print forward, lengthen out, right? And then bring the forehead down. Now, when you did that, chances are good that your upper traps just went up to your ears. It's not wrong. Elevation is one of the motions of the shoulder blades, but can you soften them away from your ears and then bring the forearms to the ground, bring the forehead to the ground or the ground up to your forehead, right? And take 2 breaths there. Breathe right into your lungs, right? That is the back side of the heart, by the way. Open that up. Coming up to hands and knees, moving into a twist to accentuate that opening back there, right? So bring the knees in, feet a little wide, just so your hip distance again. And then we're gonna add a little strength into this. So we've done this one before. Right hand behind the right head, not, you've got 2 heads today in case you didn't know. Reach the right elbow up, that's your side waist, right? Activating. And then reach that right elbow down towards the left wrist and swing the elbow over. And inhale up. You might feel that around your shoulder blade as a stretch. I feel it in my low waist today, which is weird, right? Bringing that down. So I know I've got some tightness there, that's for sure. And inhale up. This time we release into the twist. We're going to release the arm up. We're going to reach up for a moment there. And then we're going to swing that arm past the left inner wrist, reach it over, over. Set down the right shoulder. And you can always support the side of the head with a block or a blanket. Left arm might reach forward like downward facing dog. And then can you reach or slide your right shoulder away from your right ear so there's space there? And then the next question I have is, would you be able to hammock the neck, meaning releasing the neck muscles and stop protecting there? And again, the answer might be no. And take another breath. And you're not hard on your body or pissed at your body. You just notice, I have a holding pattern there. I can't release. That's interesting. Bring the left hand under left shoulder. Push the floor away. Come up to your neutral and restabilize. El otro lado. Left hand behind left head. Inhale, left elbow reaches up. And exhale, bring that elbow down towards that right wrist. Inhale, lifting up, find that beautiful core. Abdominals, I mean by that, and side waist. Exhale, coming in, stretch around your shoulder blade. This time when we reach up, we're going to stay there. We're going to maybe extend the left arm. I'm not reaching my fingertips up higher, right? I'm opening from my shoulder, from my rib cage, and then swing past the right inner wrist. Reach, and set down. Now, when I set down, I always end up with my ear by my shoulder, right? So I'm going to slide my left shoulder away from my ear, reach my right arm forward to downward dog if that feels okay. And then I'm going to check into that neck and see if I can soften that neck a little bit more. And breathe. Bring the right hand under the right shoulder, push the floor away. Come on up to hands and knees. Now we're going to go to downward dog. If anyone feels like that's more than you'd like, remember you have half downward dog or you have extended child's pose. Otherwise, walk your hands a little forward, curl your toes under, and go up pretty slow and leave the lower body out of it. What do I mean by that? Leave your knees bent, but push your hips up and back, right? So it's almost like I'm laying my ribs on my thighs. I'm that bent. I'm going to lift my heels super duper high so I get sole of the footwork. And then I'm going to lengthen my spine as much as I possibly can and rotate my outer upper arms into my face. So I try to find that spaciousness in my upper trap land, right? And then maybe those heels start to reach back and down. If you need to pedal, I'm not going to take it away from you, but you'll notice I'm working with a little more stillness today. Heels reaching down, thighs reaching back. Take one more breath. Feel that length through the back side of your body. And then walk your hands back to your feet. Let's bend our knees again, so we're not in our hamstrings as much. Let's grab our elbow points, if that's okay. Drape down in. Check into the neck, soften the neck as much as you can, and the shoulders so that you end up with over 20 pounds pulling the spine into traction. If that's just difficult or hurts the body, put your hands on your elbows on your knees and look forward, right? Put your other forearm in front and drape in for 2 more breaths. Notice where you're holding on. Sometimes if my neck's really grippy, I'll just shake it a little bit, and that can help sometimes. Hands on shins, reach the chest forward, right? Move into that imaginary block, find your pelvic floor, hands on hips first round, elbows up, reach the chest forward, and come on up. Whew, we made it. Come on up to the top of the mat. I don't know, you guys. It's a whole different world in here. I'm going down to a t-shirt already. I haven't been in a t-shirt in ages in this space. Standing up nice and tall at the top of the mat. Go ahead and reach those arms out and up. And then from there, grab your left wrist and lean over to the right. Let's get into the side waist a little bit. Inhale back to center, grabbing right wrist, leaning to the left. And inhale up one more time. The add-on is, we're not going to hold it, but maybe your hip pushes over to the left as you lean to the right, if that's okay with your body. Come back up, and as I lean to my left, I might push my hip a little to the right. I might not. Coming back to center, exhale, we're going to fold in for a half sun salutation. Ardha Surya Namaskara. Hands on shins, chest forward, tone that low belly. Exhale, fold in. Arms can reach out if you want this time. You know you can leave your hands on your hips the whole dang day. Inhale, come up from the pelvic floor, long spine. And exhale, bring those arms out and down. grab onto a block. If you don't have a block, you're going to have something like this or just a pretend block, but I believe everyone with me today has a block. But video friends, if you don't have one, you could still manage, just imagine, right? So I have it on the long edge between my palms. I'm trying not to wrap my fingertips around it, but rather to push into it directly from the outside. So make sure my heel and my hands are really grounded, right? And then I'm gonna reach that out in front of me. Now, for good measure, so we understand shoulder blades, ours in our body, the way it feels, we're gonna slide our fingers forward and we're gonna round our back behind us a little bit into what would be a cat spine, right? And then pull the shoulders back behind you, not too far, and pull that upper back in a little bit till you find neutral, right? I have equanimity on both sides of my body. And then I might just work from here. I might start to lift that up without letting my belly drop forward, without letting my ribs flare out, right? I keep equanimity on front and back side of all parts of my spine. When you get overhead, I'd love for you to go ahead and push even more into that block. Go wider. It'll feel better in your shoulders, I think. So let go. And no, let go completely. And now come in again. See what I mean, Jelly Bean? I'm trying to get you more width. If it doesn't feel better, let me know. And I'm trying not to give you 2 cork blocks because they're heavy as get up. And take one more breath from there. And then bring that down and go ahead and release that. Hold, put that block down off. Oh, actually, let's do one more thing while we're here with the block. Bring the block behind you, and you're welcome to use it again if this feels narrow. And then you're going to push. Same thing. Try not to grab with fingers. It's not wrong. It's just you got to work a little harder. Bend the elbows, move the elbows back behind you. So it's similar to this action, by the way, right? Just a slightly different arm variation. And then I might start to reach down a little bit. I can never straighten my arms completely and still maintain that contact of pushing into the block. My ribs love to go because it's the weakest part of my body, right? Or the least supported, I'll say. It's not weak. I just don't use it properly. And then go ahead and release that. Let that block come down. Let's move. We're going to come down to our bellies, just so you all know. So if you want to move the blanket, move the blanket. Inhale, arms out and up. Imagine that block's in there for a hot second, right? Exhale, fold in. Hands on shins, reach the chest forward. Now try to keep that beautiful long spine. Bend the knees as much as you need to and place your hands down. I usually start with fingertips till I get a leg back. Reach the right leg back, palms down. Reach the left leg back. We're in the top of a push-up, right? Bring the knees down first round, everybody. And we're going to work with that cat spine to neutral spine. So on an exhale, pull the upper back up, look back towards your knees a little bit, round the spine, particularly the upper back. Now move your shoulder blades a little in and together or together and down to reach the chest forward, but don't overdo that. Don't overarch the spine. Exhale one more time. Pull the belly up, round the spine up, look back. And then from the shoulder blades today, we're going to try to come into an elongated spine. Now keep that. Bend the elbows. And slowly come down in. Try to let the elbows brush the sides of your body or, somewhere thereabouts. Uncurl your toes, pressing the tops of the feet, and inhale up, low cobra. I'm not using my hands. I'm using the power of the upper back, and I'm lifting my shoulders, and I'm toning my belly to keep my low back uber, uber, uber long. I love, love, love this pose, right? It strengthens the muscles. There are 3 sets alongside the spine from the skull to the sacrum. You are engaging all 6 of them right now in a beautiful way. And I'm leaving here. I know I'm not just talking to talk. I talk to distract sometimes. Come on down. You got your crocodile arms. Bring your elbows in just a little bit, right? So instead of all the way forward, what sometimes I teach, you're going to bring them back a little bit and bring the forehead down. And then try to soften as much as you can, like your armpits could gently fall down to the ground. And you're going to feel like you get a little stopped from that action, right? But let the arm bones sink into the shoulder sockets and let the armpits sink to the ground as best you can from here. Take another breath. And there's a melting on the backside of the heart that starts to happen. Reach the arms out in front of you. We've been swimming lately. We're going to go swimming, right? Press into the tops of the feet, tone the belly in. Thighs lift, and I drag my hands back just a little bit till I'm back in low cobra upper body. I just happen to have my legs, my arms extended, right? This might be exactly what you do the whole time. Awesome if so, right? I don't lift high, but my right arm and my left leg reach away from each other to lift. And then I bring that down. Left arm, right leg. You're going to go ahead and you're going to find your timing. The limbs that are on the ground, they push down pretty hard, right, in order to do this. I try not to let my hips move. When I lift my left leg, my left hip would love to roll down. I try not to allow that to happen for today anyway, right? My belly would love to turn off and just lay super flaccid on the ground. I ask my corset to turn on the whole time. And my shoulder blades, I'm trying to get them in that Goldilocks position and work from that place. When you finish left arm, right leg, you will have completed your cycle. You're going to bring your arms back, other palm on top. Bring the elbows a little closer this time in the forearms. Bring the forehead down. And then again, try to soften down into that. And again, it feels like you get a little stopped from the full action or compressed. But what I'm trying to get is if those arm bones keep the shoulders up just a little bit, maybe that middle of the chest, upper back, the back of the heart melts down a little bit. Take a breath. Bring your hands next to your low floating ribs. Curl your toes under, and we're going to come back to a downward dog. You got your half push-up, which I'm demonstrating, knees down, right? If you're ready for that full push-up, it's all yours. We will come down one more time with full push-up for anyone who's like, hey, I wanted my full push-up, man. What the heck? You ripped me off. Don't you worry. You'll have time. So we've been talking about that neutral place for the shoulder blades. Can you find it here? And if you're like, I don't know, let the ears, the shoulders slide up to the ears, which is down in this case to gravity, right? And then slide them away. And then slide them all the way to the buttocks bones, too far the other way. Come back a little bit, right? You can round them around the body a little bit. And you can bring them into each other. Where is it that the neck has space? Where is it that the upper traps let go? Where is it that you find length, space in the shoulder socket? Take another breath. Can you soften the neck? Coming up on tippy toes, bending knees, looking forward. At the end of an exhale, we're going to step or jump to the top of the mat, whichever one you prefer. Inhale, reaching the chest forward. Exhale, fold. Whatever arm variation you want, my main request is from the pelvic floor. That's 3 weeks worth of work right there, yeah? Finding that. Find the block up top, push into it. Some of my friends, you might feel like your upper back's ready to bring the palms together. Don't do it if it hurts your body or it feels compressed, right? And then I reach my fingertips up from either variation, whether I'm pushing into an imaginary block or I'm pushing my palms together to pull my upper back in. When my upper back pulls in, my neck extends and I can gaze up ever so slightly. Exhale, reach the arms down, maybe a shoulder roll or two. So we're going to look at that neck position for a second, and then we'll keep adding on. Interlace your hands. I'm going to take a quick drink. Pardon me. I don't know what I ate yesterday, but it was something because I have all kinds of extra mucus today. Right? Bring it right behind. So this is called the occiput. That's kind of where that skull and that neck connect. Yep. You're going to move your elbows in. If I could, I would have you all put a block in between your arms right now. It's very telling, right? And you would push into that block. So about block's distance, slide your shoulder blades down. I'm not moving them into full depression, right? I just don't want them up at my ears. And then I'm going to keep moving into my imaginary block between my elbows. I'm going to reach my elbows up to the sky without my ribs flaring forward. I try to keep my spine long with the exception of my upper back and my neck. And then you'll feel it, right? The upper back moves into the chest and the neck lays back into the hands. Now, for some of my friends who have super protective necks, you're going to leave your hands there. If it's okay to think of lengthening that marionette string up and back, holding the neck yourself and reaching the arms up, add that in. If it's okay to bring the palms together, add that in, but don't lose the length of the low back. Take one more breath wherever you're working from. Exhale, bring that down. So we're going to bring that in to other things when we start to move. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Maybe you bring the hands together, maybe not. Exhale and fold. Hands on shins, reach the chest forward. Bend your knees, plant your hands, and step your left foot back. You are welcome to bring the left knee down. I'm going to work from a crescent lunge if it's available today. So inhale, reach the arms out and up. Left knee down or slightly bent, one variation or the other. I pull my frontal hip points up, my buttocks flush down. That's that pelvic wheel we've been working lately, right? And then I'm going to look at that arm position, but I'm going to do one thing in between what we just did. Reach the arms up. Here's your second option. All of us go to goal post or saguaro cactus arms. Now, without your ribs moving forward, move your elbows back so you feel that upper back move into the heart, the extension of the neck, and you might stay right here. This is another beautiful place to find the work without all the extra crap, right? Maybe you reach up, maybe your palms come together. Maybe you find that same extension as if your hands were behind your head supporting you. Take another breath wherever you're working from, maybe straighten the left leg a little bit, maybe not. And then bring that down. If it goes into your low back, certainly do not, right, go too far into that pose. Downward dog. And breathe. Without your ribs moving towards your thighs, right, contain that part of the body. Can your upper back melt towards your chest? People will say, can your heart melt down? But do it from the upper back, right? That's really what we're asking to release there. Inhale the left leg into the air behind you and bring that foot forward between the hands. Right, and you can totally come down or you can leave it a little lifted. Inhale, coming up. If I leave it lifted, I'm going to bend it for this whole first part, right? My main thing here for everybody is the health of the low back. We keep it long by finding our pelvic wheel and our support system. We keep it long without the ribs flaring when we reach the arms up. We keep it long when we maybe come to goal post arms and move the elbows back. So the whole time, hopefully this part of my spine never moves, right? You might stay right here. Maybe that neck can come into a little extension if that upper back gently moves to the heart. Maybe the arms reach up, the palms come together, right? And you lift up, lengthen up from the upper back through the neck. Maybe the right leg lengthens, but maybe it does not today. If it's in your low back, get out. Bring the hands down. Step the right foot forward. These are notorious low back hurters for people who don't have the support system. Hands on the shins, reach the chest forward. Exhale, folding in. Inhale, coming all the way up. So we want to learn, right, how to keep the low back long and supported. Exhale, arms down, even as we start to find space in the upper back. It's a pretty important line, I think, for our spine and our body. Okay, so we're going to go through one more time, a little quicker, same stuff. Yeah? So hopefully now we've felt it and we understand what I'm saying. So now we can really experience it. I'll try to talk less. Inhale, but I might just talk faster. Exhale, folding in. Hands on shins, chest forward, bend knees, plant hands, step right foot back, knee can come down. Inhale up, start with a slightly bent knee. Your two options for the arms today, or anything in between, but those are the two main ones for the upper back and the chest, right? Maybe the right leg straightens a little bit, take a breath, low back so uber long. And then exhale, come on down. Step back. Here's full push-up time. You ready? Come to the top of the plank. Go to downward dog if you're like, no, right? Come forward on your tippy toes, bend the elbows, and come on down, or use your knees. Shoulder doing okay? And then inhale, low cobra. If you're ready for that upward dog, we've done an awful lot of upper back bends. Maybe you're ready for that, right? I'm going to talk about it for a second. My thighs reach up, my tailbone drops down, and I move my shoulders back to find my chest opening. Curl your toes under, everybody. Knees or no knees, we make our way back. And let's meet in downward dog. Inhale, right leg into air behind you. Exhaling it forward, left knee down or not. Inhale up into crescent. Either goal post arm variation or arm hands together variation today, right? But find that beautiful upper back bend without compromising the low back. Maybe the left leg straightens a little bit, maybe not. And then bring the hands to the ground in front of you, stepping left foot forward. Hands on shins, chest forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, coming all the way up. And exhale, coming down. We're going to come down onto our backs and do bridge, but stay up for just a second so you can see me, because once you're down, it's harder to see me. A strap may or may not be handy for this, right? So the first bridge, we're just going to do bridge, right? Grab edges of mat or interlace, rocking the shoulders under. Nothing too new or fancy there. Second time, we might bring a strap around. Why? Because it gets us a little closer to grabbing the heels and to do a bigger back bend. If you have low back issues, you wouldn't do this, right? And then from that place, now I start to come up again and I roll my shoulders under me. And you can see that instead of being further forward with my heels, right, I have my feet a little closer and I pull against the strap to try to open this part of the body, but I try to keep this part of the body uber long, right? And then we'll come down. So just a slightly different way to work bridge, which one day maybe, I don't even think I can do it. I'm not gonna go all the way up because I could hurt myself, right? But basically it's that shape of a bridge, which is also the shape of camel, which is also the shape of bow. You get where I'm going, yeah? Okay, come on down. Have a strap handy unless you know you're not, don't want it, or you know your low back's talking, that kind of thing. Regular bridge hopefully will feel fine in your back. Talk to me if it's not. But usually bridge we can get away with. It's the one with the strap that might feel more uncomfortable. Okie dokie, artichokes. So right now my feet are gonna end up underneath my knees, hopefully, right? So that I'm stacked, architecture-wise. Go ahead and push into the heels. Tailbone gets light, roll up. Either grab the edges of your mat or interlace and try to rock each shoulder independently, one at a time, underneath you. Push down to rise. That means I'm pushing through my feet. I usually forget the inner edge of my feet, so I need to push more to the inner edge of my feet personally. And I forget my pinky fingers and my wrists and my elbows, right? So push down into what you got on the floor. Breathe into that chest. And then can your tailbone move up to the sky? AKA, can you lengthen your low back even more, right? Pull the heels back, their traction, they don't move. Pull the heels back to the shoulders so the hamstrings help the low back here. And then roll down. So this is our big back bend for the day. Check in. If you're like, ooh, the low back's getting sensitive, you might not do the next one at all, and you definitely wouldn't do the strap. Otherwise, I find it easiest to get the strap in place by bringing my knees into my chest, taking the strap around both of my ankles, putting my feet down closer to my buttocks bones, right? So now I'm close, and I just keep grabbing onto that strap, and that's my arm variation for this one. Otherwise, you're going right back to where we were. Push down to the heels, everybody. Roll up. Tuck your shoulders underneath you. Maybe you can creep forward on the strap, maybe not. I pull my heels back, right? With both my hands and with my feet, so I feel my hamstrings support me. I move my tailbone up to the sky and pull my frontal hip points towards my chest, but yep, I open my chest and I soften my neck and I breathe, inhale. And exhale, roll down. And I forgot to say it, but feet are hip distance for that one. I apologize for the lateness on that cue. Release the strap. We are going to go into a forward fold to give that back body a little bit of love the other direction. Take just a second. First, I'm going to suggest windshield wiper. So arms out wide, walk the feet wide, and just let your knees swish from right to left. And hopefully that releases any tension you might have had in the low back. And even if the low back doesn't feel tender, my low back has to work like the dickens to support me in that one. And it just feels good to just say, oh, thank you for your service, low back. I sure do appreciate you. I've mentioned that before, but man, I had major low back issues when I started yoga, before yoga, right? But then I exacerbated them when I first started because I was so aggressive. Come back to center, and it took me a while to learn how to support myself. Walk your feet into hip distance. You're going to bring your knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Leave the shoulders and upper back down for just a second there. And it might feel really groovy to let your knees, your legs Rock back and forth, right to left, and just massage out that low back. Not every body, but the majority of bodies, we prefer this position over back bends. It's the most comfortable because we spend the most time in it, right? And then put that right foot down, left foot down on the ground, hug the right knee in, and you can literally grab more towards the knee so you get that good low back rounding, assuming that feels okay in your low back. And then just for a brief moment, we're going to interlace behind the right thigh and push the right heel up and come to a neutral spine, right? So now I get my arch back in my lumbar spine, but I got to soften my shoulders down so I find my beautiful upper back and neck. And bring that foot down. Bring your left leg in. And again, get pretty close to the knee or behind the knee and pull down with the intention of literally rounding the low back as much as is comfortable in your body. Interlace behind the left thigh, push the left heel up to the sky, right? And yeah, it's hamstring stretch, but really I'm doing it to try to find neutral spine after being back and forth between the two extremes, right? Bring that left foot down. We're going to grab the backs of the thighs and we're going to tone the belly in, and you can lift the hips and the feet a little bit and then pull the belly in to try to rock up to a seated position. We got a little core section here. Have your feet on the ground about hip distance, and my heels are a good deal in front of me at this point. And Mark, if you want to work this either from plank or from lying down with the cat-cow business, since it doesn't work for you seated, do that, okay? Grab the backs of the knees, shoulder blades down the back, and find your neutral spine where I hopefully have all of my natural curves of my spine in place, equanimity on the front side as well as the back side. I'm not going to make you do it, but if you were to reach your fingertips out, would that help you find that line, right? And then from there, you can release the arms forward or you can grab on the thighs. I'm going to work with my thighs today. I'm going to pull my low belly, right? And from pulling my low belly, I mean like top of your pubic hair low belly. I don't care how far down you go, you're rounding into cat right now, yeah? From the upper rim of the pelvis today, we're going to come up. So I want this to be super low in the body right now, right? So again, from right here, I pull down to round. Yeah, my whole spine rounds, my chin tucks in, you betcha, right? From right here, I pull up, it ripples my spine into elongated spine. Now try to move from up here a little bit more, right? So now I'm going to move my upper back first, right? But I still tone my belly. And then I'm going to move my shoulder blades back and reach my chest forward. How does that change the experience? I find this one way harder, by the way. And then go ahead and round to get up, right? Lowering down is fine, but to get up without using that low, the pelvis for me is like, whoa, and reach the chest forward. And go ahead and put your right shin in front of your left. Get really tall. Let's release those muscles back there. Folding forward. You'll probably feel the right buttocks. But if I rock a little right to left, I can start to talk to some of those muscles we just asked to work pretty good. That's often why I do that work in between our forward folds of this pose, because it really usually stretches what we just said. Woo, right? Maybe walk to the left, reaching right arm forward and away. Breathing is a good thing. Always, right? Unless you're underwater, and then I would suggest not breathing. Ha, 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 I'm so funny. Come back to center. Inhale, come back up. Put your left shin in front of your right. I have a joke for you. It's a short one. You ready? It's not any good, by the way. It's very funny to me, though. So there's a bunch of Buddhists who go to a surprise party. Where do they hide? In the present. I love that joke so much. Get nice and tall. Buddhists, oh, those Buddhists. Go ahead and from the pelvis, start to come on forward. Rock a little bit from right to left. Everyone laughs at me because I like such bad jokes, but I'd rather be laughing than scowling. Walk over to the right, lengthen that left arm forward and away. Say hello to that left buttocks, hip, sideways, whatever you got going on. Come on back to center, reach the chest forward. Let's go ahead and let's come back up to standing for, well, actually, no. Give me a second, recalibrating. I added in a section I wasn't going to. Okay, stay up for a second. We're going to come onto our backs, and this is how we're going to work on our backs. You're going to be on your side body. I'm going to say, put your hand behind you with your palm facing away. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to roll back. Some of us, it's going to be better for our body and to help that shoulder soften down if our hand is more towards our sacrum. If you're like, nope, not feeling much, right? Roll over a little bit and creep it up a little, but my palm still faces away. And I might come to the back of my heart center. I might not if my shoulder doesn't agree with that, right? And I'm going to try to lay back down. I'm going to try to flatten the best I can. I can't do it completely. My shoulder blade between the floor and my rib cage, and let this shoulder soften down. And then my ribs are like, oh my God. It's okay, baby, right? And I settle down in. If you're like, I don't like the pressure, you might just work it from your side body and work the shoulder back behind you. Yeah? Okay. So come on down onto your back. And then I don't have control over these lights, ladies, and it's a little too dark to take them all the way out. I'll do it before Shavasana for sure. Roll onto your right side body. You can support the head with the right bicep. You're gonna bring the left hand back, palm faces away from you. Start on the sacrum unless you really know your body well, right? And you know this. Roll onto your back body. Pardon me. And then try to work that shoulder blade down and in a little bit because you feel how you're on the inside edge, right? And then try to open that left shoulder. Now, if you're like, I could use a little more, you roll over again, you move the hand up more towards the heart center, anywhere between those spots, right? And you come back down. One of my arms, I can come up by my heart. The other arm, I got to keep on my sacrum because the shoulder's goofed up, right? Soften the shoulder down to the ground. Soften the rib cage down onto your hand or thereabouts. You can leave your feet on the ground. I find that nicer in my low back, but some people like to straighten their legs out. I don't know. I'm not in your body, right? Right arm softens. And we're going to just take about 3 breaths. Their only big activity here is moving that left shoulder, actively trying to soften it down. So I do use a little bit of muscular action here, but not a lot. Pardon me. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the feet on the ground. I should have showed you this one too. We're going to do a quad stretch and I'm going to do an add-on. You'll look at the camera if you need to see the add-on. I'm going to roll to my right side body to release my left arm. While I'm here, I'm going to bring my left leg to my body, knee to my chest. I'm going to grab my ankle and reach my left knee down while I pull my left frontal hip point up. But the concentration is not just quads today. Can you roll that left shoulder back like we just did, as if your hand was still on your sacrum, right? And can you find that upper back bend while keeping the low back long? Now, for some of my friends, this is not everybody, probably not most of the bodies in here. I might roll towards my back again. I'm going to let my left heel come out to the outside of my left hip. My right foot's on the ground with my knee bent, and I try to keep my left knee in line with my buttocks bone. This is half supine hero's pose. I'm doing it. I got to keep my frontal hip points pulling up like the Dickens. Again, depending on your ankle, your foot, all kinds of things, this might not be available. Stay on your side body if it's not, right? And then all of us are going to roll to our right side body, wherever the heck we were. We're going to let go of the quad. We're going to roll onto the back, and we're going to pause for a hot second, and we're going to breathe, hopefully. You might notice if there's any difference in your right side body. We just did something in the lower and the upper. So, right, is anything different in the right side than the left side? And then roll onto your left side body, feeling free to support the head. First, we got that arm thing. So we're going to bring the right hand behind you, the shoulder thing, I should say, right? Towards the sacrum to start, palm away from you. Roll back down, right? Try to get that right shoulder blade between your rib cage and the floor. And this is my arm that's like, aha, you're funny, right? So I'm not going to roll over and go higher, but you might roll over and bring your hand up a little more towards the heart center if you're not feeling much and you're able to get that shoulder blade stable, right? And then we're going to try to move that right shoulder down towards the ground. Not too crazy actively. Soften the ribs down if you get tense there, your jaw, all that stuff. Maybe the legs extend, but you can leave the feet on the ground. And we're going to take about 3 breaths here, noticing how this side is different than the other. So different in my body. Oh my God, it's so different. This is the arm and the shoulder that my teacher was trying to help me with because it's so, I don't even know what to call it. Challenging. Roll onto your left side body, release that shoulder out. First, just regular quad stretch, and you might stay there. Bring the right knee towards the chest, grab the ankle, reach the right knee down towards the bottom of your mat as you pull your right hip point up. You might hang out right there and just live in that land. This is a pretty awesome place to live. I might roll onto my back body or towards it, right? I come onto the toenails of my right foot. My right heel comes a little bit outside of my right hip. My right knee stays in line with my hip point. I move it towards the earth, but if you're looking at me, you're like, yours isn't on the earth. It's not on the earth, but I'm moving it down gently, right? I pull my frontal hip points up so I don't hurt my low back. I'm talking about this one a lot because this one can be big, right? Left foot on the ground, left knee bent. And if you're just doing your quad stretch, live in your own world, ignore what I'm talking about and breathe, right? One more breath wherever you chose to be. All of it's beautiful. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll on to our left side body. If you're not already, they meet there. Release the quad. Roll onto your back body and pause for just a moment, right? Recalibrate, straighten the spine out, all the business, right? And just pause for a moment and just notice if your body feels different than when you walked in today. Walk your feet as wide as your mat. Lean your knees in. Bring your right arm over your left in a hug. Maybe simply hugging here. Maybe bringing the forearms towards each other for eagle arms. Don't go too aggressive. We're the end of class already, right? You're going to let your elbows gently lift off the chest if that's okay with your body. Actually, the way I would say that is if you can keep your upper trap soft, right? If they activate, it's not worth lifting the elbows. And maybe the elbows lift up to the sky a little bit. Some of you have had me grab your elbows and pull them up in the past, right? It's that feeling. And hopefully that right upper trap and around your shoulder blade are getting a big old beautiful stretch. They worked pretty good today. Maybe the head rocks to the left. That might activate the right neck or upper trap on a deeper level or a different way, in a different way, or whatever that is for you. Rock the head back up to center. Release the arms. We're going to go directly to the other side. So we're going to cross left arm over right, hugging, cross elbows deeply. Maybe forearms cross and hands clasp. Maybe not. Bring your awareness to your upper traps. Do not let the upper traps lift up to the ears or engage if you bring the elbows off the chest a little bit. And then the elbows might reach up to the sky a little bit. I still don't let my upper traps engage, right? Or try not to. I try to communicate with them and retrain them. They don't have to do everything all the time. Maybe the head rocks to the left. And again, that just might provide a slightly different stretch. Maybe it links the upper trap to the neck stretch, etc. Just check in. Head back to center. Arms out. Bring your arms into Shavasana style arms and pause. And just notice if there's anything else in your body. We're gonna do one more pose, and I'm gonna say yogi's choice, right? So if your upper back is feeling pretty relaxed and calm, you might do like maybe a windshield wiper twist or maybe a happy baby or something just to say hi to the hips one more time, maybe just a simple hug. If you're feeling like you need a little extra something in your upper back or your shoulders, right? Maybe typewriter or just stretching the arms overhead or whatever feels like it would complete your practice today, right? Try to do that one for your last one. And for me, I'm actually literally going to keep my body in constructive rest and keep it as soft as I can. And my neck feels like it wants to release. So I'm just going to really gently rock my head from side to side. And again, you don't have to do what I'm doing. I'm just pointing, right? When I listen, that's what I hear. And I'm like, okay, got you. And then I'm going to lift my head and let my right ear move to my right shoulder and soften down. So you might play with your neck in that way, right? Just gently moving the neck. Maybe back through center, left ear towards left shoulder, softening down. Whatever pose you decided to do, let's go ahead and finish it up in the next, let's say 3 breaths. And then since it was a neck and upper back day, for my friends who have blankets, if I may be so bold as to suggest, unless you're putting it over your body, bring the blanket behind you, the knee pad fold, right? But roll up the end of it. Probably not the fringe side, it'll be more effective. And then pull the roll underneath your neck. I'm demonstrating this, right? And then I'm going to let that roll come into my neck. How big? I don't know. Bring it in and feel it out. I mean, if I was right there with you in an individual private, I would be able to help you with that. But what I look for is a little bit of support coming up into my neck without pushing my neck up to the sky. And then I soften the back of my head down. For me, as I've told you, I have a reverse cervical curve. So I do put just a little extra height because my neck goes the wrong way. And I've been trying to encourage it through the years to go the proper way, right? I've gone from 3 degrees the reverse way to 0. I have no curve in my neck at this point in time. Which also I might point out when people look at me and they're like, you sit up so straight. And I'm like, well, I'm missing almost every curve in my natural spine. So it's not necessarily a great thing that I have that super straight spine. I'm literally missing most of my lumbar curve, most of my thoracic, and all of my cervical curve. And I have disintegration in my neck because of it, right? Deterioration in my vertebrae. So just saying, sometimes we look at people and we're like, hey, they got it made. Oh my God, they're awesome body. Oh, look at how they can. But that might not be the case. And now let go of everything I just said. Hopefully you feel supported, or at least the neck and upper back feel a little bit. And then we got that letting go, or as I'm going to talk about it today, letting be. Y'all know one of the main purposes of this physical practice has nothing to do with the body, right? It's to get us ready for meditation. So here we are in a form of meditation. And one of the big, tenets or lessons that yoga teaches us or tries to teach us is accepting all that is as it is without wanting things to be different. Whatever that means to you today. Accepting when the mind goes off, accepting whatever it is the mind thinks about, accepting the body with all of its aches and pains, its pulsings and throbbings, accepting that we are exactly where we are supposed to be. Accepting the struggle, the pain. And I don't mean that passive, you have to live in it and it just brings you into a depression, a clinical depression, right? But I mean, this is where I am. I accept this, right? I forgive this, whatever it needs to be. And then, listening, are there changes that you need to make, could make, in order to move through that suffering or pain? I'm going to take my voice out for about 1 more minute here. Bring your awareness back to your breath, to the physical body. And then any movements, wiggles, jiggles, stretches, rotations, separations, hugging, whatever movement floats your boat. Come back into that body gently. And then make your way up to an upright posture. And just so you know, when you get there, I'm going to stay down. So please don't be alarmed. I just want to point something out rather than getting up and coming back down. I'm just going to stay down. But you're not in a rush by any means, right? Any of my worker bees, I'm going to run us about 2 minutes late. So if you got to get out of here, it's 9:30 right now. I just want to point one thing out. When we sleep at night, right? So this is pretty close to the natural position of this, or the neutral curves, the spine, right? With the head down pretty close to the earth. I've got the neck propped up just a little bit. I've got my upper back down and my low back has a little arch. And I just want to point out that often when we sleep, right? We bring in these big ass pillows that fluff way up and this is going to be better, I think, right? And now look at the position of my neck spine. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong, and I'm not saying you got to change, but I just want to point that out, right? And then you probably turn onto your side, and then you're probably in the fetal position. And if I look at that shape in another position, it's kind of like this, right? So if we sit like this all day, and then we sleep like this all night, right? Just what that does to our spine. So I'm saying that because this neck roll situation, you're probably not going to sleep all night like that. Most people can't. And especially when you do make the transition, if you decide to, by the way, go in small interval steps to go into it. But when I sleep at night on my back now, I have a neck pillow. This was recommended by a chiropractor. It changed my whole world in my freaking neck and upper back. Oh my God, what a difference. My headache stopped, all kinds of things, right? But where you have that natural position. I can only sleep and lay like this for maybe 2 hours most probably, but at least it gives me a little bit of time where I'm not in that other position. So food for thought, take it or leave it. It's your body. Hands together. Push the palms together so those shoulders broaden, so the collarbone broadens, right? Equanimity on both sides of the body. Take an inhale. Exhale, bow your head in. Taking just a moment of gratitude here. And namaste.